Hey everyone, welcome back to Console Crapshoot, where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. We're still waiting to play the Neo Geo, it's getting ridiculous at this point, and actually, this might be the week. Yes, Neo Geo, finally. It took me many years to finally acquire a Neo Geo, and then we had to wait forever to finally get it on the wheel. Today's the day. 138 games on this wheel. Magician Lord. Actually remember this one, it was one of the earlier Neo Geo games. Let's bust out the arcade stick. And yeah, since this is the first Neo Geo game, let's give a little background. As a kid, I only played the Neo Geo in the arcades. The home and arcade versions were the same games, they were the same experience, and they achieved this by having these giant cartridges that were essentially arcade boards in the cartridges. The contacts on the board came in two big rows, and for this reason, the games were super expensive. You were looking at $200-300 a game at least. The system itself was super expensive. No one had these. When you were a kid growing up around this time, you heard rumors of like a neighbor's cousin's friend that has one. You saw them in magazines, but like I said, arcade board at home, it was the exact same game. You could even take your memory card from the home system and bring it to the arcade and plug it into the arcade machine, and your scores and your unlocked things would be there. It was nuts. Neo Geo games were known to be 330 meg cartridges, which was huge at the time. That was the maximum. Later on, they actually, I think, did figure out a way to get even bigger than that. But Magician Lord here is one of the earliest Neo Geo games, and it was actually 46 meg. So the super impressive graphics that we saw from the Neo Geo weren't really here yet. This is early. This one still looks great. It looked way better than anything on the Genesis or Super Nintendo at the time, but it wasn't quite the mind-blowing experience that the Neo Geo was. We actually had this game. I played it a bunch in the Neo Geo arcade machine in my local bowling alley, and it was a cool game. The only reason I didn't play it too much was because it was way too hard. You get killed constantly. It's designed to pump quarters into and make a lot of money. It's good at least that the home version has unlimited continues, because there would be no way to beat this game. It's kind of unfairly hard. If you're familiar with Altered Beast, it's like Altered Beast if Altered Beast was an actual good game. And don't get me wrong, I liked Altered Beast at the time, but it was just visually cool. It wasn't much to the actual game. Kind of like Altered Beast, you get these orb power-ups that will make you transform. You get to be this dragon guy, spits fire everywhere, is pretty cool. A ninja, also very cool. Those are the two common ones. Then you could be Waterman. I didn't get a chance to be this for more than 2 seconds. Aside in which I tried a little bit. Never came across Samurai, and didn't come across Raijin till the very end. I'll show that later. The problem with these power-ups is the game is so difficult. Once you get hit, you lose the damn power-up. And they're not that common. They're not common enough. Most of the time you're playing as your regular Magician Lord character. And he's kind of boring, let's be honest. And yeah, look at this. Pretty much every time I get a transformation, I lose it immediately. You just get hit way too much. But I will say the level design is awesome in this game. It's super colorful. It's super vibrant. I love the design of a lot of the bosses. They're unique. The main bad guy is super weird and creepy with his little mustache and his strange voice actor.
You're very dangerous. Be dead down there.
They really got weird with some of these boss fights. But something I noticed when I was a kid and I really appreciate now, the music hits hard. Just really top-notch music for this kind of a game in this era. I don't know how many times I died. I don't know how many quarters that would have been if I wasn't playing this at home, but it's money that I never would have spent as a kid especially. I would never spend that now to beat a game in the arcade, but playing this at home was really the only way to go. At the end, you get to pick from any of the transformations, so I picked this weird last one, and it was really cool for the 5 seconds I had it, but obviously lost it right away. Sweet, rolling credits on this one. That was very frustrating. So let's give this one a verdict. What do we think of Magician Lord for the Neo Geo AES? Look, I mean, some of these backgrounds are gorgeous. I really appreciate this game. When you compare it to the games of its ilk on the Genesis and Super Nintendo, there's no comparison technically, like graphics-wise and sound-wise. You got what you paid for with the Neo Geo. None of us could afford it. None of our parents were going to buy it for us, but way superior. As far as gameplay, in this case, it suffers from the fact that the home console games are the same version as the arcade games because it's so punishing. An arcade game, again, is designed to get money from you. And yeah, it was the right move to give it unlimited continues so you could see the whole game, but I feel like the game design is a little lazy in this sense where there's no amount of skill really, at least realistically attainable skill, that's going to get you to beat this game. You just have to keep pushing through and then continuing and pushing through and continuing. It's just too hard. A game like this would have benefited from a home console mode where it was different and it was designed differently. Anyone can make a game that's just going to destroy you and just kill you. The trick is to make something that's challenging that you can see patterns in and you can get around. So it loses points for me there. I don't want to judge this just on my excitement for having a Neo Geo game in front of me. I gotta weigh all the pros and cons, and for that, I'm gonna say this is a good game. This is a solid game, thumbs up, but it's not great. It has great things about it, and I for sure recommend playing it. But as an overall experience, I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5. It's super cool, it's unique, and it was a good first game. Like, it was a good first entry point for us to play a Neo Geo game. I feel like most of the Neo Geo's library is well-animated 2D fighting games, and this system's gonna get really old really fast for us on the show if that's all we get. So I'm glad to see this game. I'm glad we got it. Overall, good spin. But what did you guys think? Did you ever play this game? Did you ever see it in the arcades? And now that we finally got Neo Geo, what should we be rooting for to come up on the wheel next? Neo Geo CD is on there, but that's kind of the same thing. We haven't gotten the 3DO yet. Maybe that'll be our new obsession. But honestly, I just want to get the Neo Geo again. All right, guys. Looking forward to seeing what we get next time. Thanks for watching. See you then.